Okay, we are have resumed our preliminary hearing calendar for today. We are streaming live via YouTube. The first case that we have scheduled for a hearing today is the state of Georgia versus Janice Lynette Reed for a charge of criminal trespass, warrant number 2023 WA06373. The state will be represented by SGA. I'm sorry, is it Attorney Sullivan, James Sullivan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and the defendant, Ms. Reed, will be represented by Attorney Mark Lane. With that said, is the state ready?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's ready.
Okay, please proceed forward with your first hearing. Your first witness, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Officer Kirilova, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. By whom are you currently employed?
Clayton County Police Department.
And when did you begin working there?
It's September of 2018.
On the 3rd of April, 2023, were you still a Clayton County police officer?
That is correct.
Did you get dispatched to the Hotel O on the 3rd day of April, 2023?
Yes, sir.
What was the reason for that?
The complainant, which is one of hotel owners, called 911 asking to remove Miss Reed, who was previously trespassed from the location by me less than months prior to this incident.
And when you got there, did you speak to Miss Reed?
Yes, sir.
Did you ask her to leave?
Yes, sir. She also was asked by the hotel owner multiple times. However, she remained in a lobby and her clothes and belongings was covered with feces. She was very disturbing to the other guests. Therefore, after over an hour of communication between the owner and Miss Reed, he called 911.
Is the hotel located in Clayton County?
Yes, sir.
Based on the conduct of Miss Reed, what did you do? Did you arrest her?
I'm sorry? Yes.
What was the charge?
Criminal trespass.
And you mentioned a moment ago that the defendant had been previously given a trespass notice in case, was that case 23013513?
That is correct.
After you arrested Miss Reed, what did you do with her?
I transported her to Clayton County Jail.
All righty, thank you. Defense counsel, your witness.
Your witness.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning.
How many encounters had you had with Miss Reed?
Me personally was 2 encounters.
Okay. And during either one of these encounters, did you ever did it seem like she understood your commands?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And what made you think that she understood your commands?
She communicated with me. She answered my questions.
Okay. Did you feel that she was in good health?
I'm not the health provider. I do not know.
Did you ask her about her health?
No, sir.
But she did comply with you every time?
Well, she did.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. We're ready for close. We're ready for closing. Let me ask you, Attorney Sullivan, do you have any other witnesses?
No other witnesses, Judge. The state rests.
Okay. Attorney Lane, do you have any witnesses for the defense?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Okay. Okay, now we're ready for closing. Attorney Sullivan?
Judge, it's clear from the undisputed testimony of the police officer that on a previous occasion, Miss Reed had been officially notified to leave the premises and not return. Nonetheless, she came back on the 3rd of April, 2023. And when she was told repeatedly to leave, first by an owner of the hotel and then by the officer, she refused. And then eventually she was arrested and taken to jail. That clearly shows all the necessary elements of criminal trespass.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney Sullivan. Attorney Lane?
Your Honor, we don't have any argument.
Okay. So with that said, it does appear that the state, that there is sufficient probable cause to bind over the charge of criminal trespass against Ms. Janice Lynette Reed. Therefore, the case will be bound over. I want to thank both parties for their presentation of the case, and that will conclude the preliminary hearing for Ms. Reed today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, next case, Attorney Sullivan.
Your Honor, I'm not sure what case Mr. Brooks wants to go next.
Okay.
I'm here at his direction.
Okay. Okay, SGA Brooks.
Yes, ma'am.
The next
Hang
case
on.
you would like to proceed forward with?
I was just looking at the calendar to see what Officer Hernandez, what case you're here on?
I'm sorry.
Officer Hernandez,
Yes, sir.
are you here on Heron?
It says,
Sandra Heron?
yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Sorry.
I believe that's the next available case, Your Honor.
Okay, 1 minute.
That's position 14.
Okay. 1 minute. Okay, we are ready to proceed here. I am officially calling for a hearing, the state of Georgia versus Sandra K. Heron for warrant number 2023 WA 06363 for the charge of criminal trespass, damage to property. The state will be represented by Attorney Jane Sullivan. The defendant will be represented by Attorney Sarah Yeager. Deputies, if you will present Ms. Heron for her hearing. I believe we still have the previous defendant there. Is that Ms. Heron?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Heron is appearing via Zoom at the Clayton County Jail. Attorney Sullivan, if you will call your first witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Officer Manuel Hernandez.
Yes, sir.
Would you please raise your right hand?
And sir, you'll need to turn on your camera for the record. No, not you, Miss Heron. Is Officer, I believe it's Officer Hernandez.
Yes, sir. I thought I
Sir.
was. I'm having some little difficulty. Give me 1 second.
Okay,
There we go. All right.
okay. Okay, sir, raise your right hand. Proceed forward, Attorney Sullivan.
Officer Hernandez, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please put your hand down. What is your name?
Officer Manuel Hernandez,
And by whom are you currently employed?
Clayton County Police Department,
And when did you begin working there?
beginning of 2022.
Were you so employed on April the 3rd, 2023?
Yes, sir.
On that day, April 3rd, 2023, were you dispatched to go to the coin laundry?
Yes, sir.
And what was the nature of that call?
Oh, dispatch in reference to a disturbance. The owner, Mrs. Scott, called to notify that the Miss Heron was back on the property after she received a criminal trespass notice.
And when you arrived on scene, what did you see?
When I arrived on the scene, Miss Heron was sitting down in the on the laundromat watching TV, just sitting there on the property.
And did you speak to the complainant?
I spoke to the complainant. He advised that he wanted Miss Heron removed from the property.
And did you then speak to her?
I spoke to her and I asked her, she well, you're not supposed to be here. She said, yeah, but I have nowhere else to go. Something to that effect.
Did she ever voluntarily leave the premises?
No, at that time, once the complainant advised that he wanted her removed off the property, I removed her off the property.
Is that coin laundry located in Clayton County?
Yes, sir. It's located at 335 Suite 86 up Riverdale Road.
And based on your investigation, did you arrest Miss Heron?
Yeah, based on a report issued by officer on 3/31/2023, the complaint was issued a criminal trespass notice by the complainant at that time. So based off the previous report and the previous incident, being issued a criminal trespass notice by the owner on another date at the same location. Yes, she was arrested at that time for criminal trespass.
Thank you, officer. Your witness, counsel.
And just real quickly, let me just clarify the record. Initially on the calendar, the charge were criminal trespass damage to property, but this is actually criminal trespass, no damage to property. So I do want to clarify that for the record. You can proceed forward, Attorney Yeager.
Your Honor, that was a question I was going to ask because it's also reflected in the court case inquiry as a criminal trespass damage to property. I don't have the actual warrant. I just have the police report, but is the warrant?
Yeah, I'm looking at the warrant. It definitely states no damage.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor, for clarifying that for me. Officer, did you give when you encountered Ms. Heron, did you give her a chance to leave on her own, or did you just immediately take her into custody?
At that time, I did not have any discretion. The owner asked me to remove her from the property. And since she was issued a previous criminal trespass notice, due to the previous report, she was advised and she acknowledged that she understood that she could not come back to the property.
Okay. And did you give her that notice, or was that given by a different officer on a different day?
That notice was given by a different officer on a different date.
Okay. And was that officer there at the time, or did you speak with them about the warning?
No, I looked it up and in the report, I read the report that the previous officer created.
Okay. Did you talk with Ms. Heron about the fact that she had received that warning from someone else?
At that time, I advised her that she was not allowed to be there.
Okay. Did you ask her if she had been given the warning previously?
I cannot recall that question at this. I cannot honestly recall that at this time.
So you don't have any information as to whether or not she had actually obtained the criminal trespass warning that she's being accused of violating?
I do have the report. I read the report. The report stated that she was issued a criminal trespass notice by the officer, by the owner, and the report stated that she was advised and she acknowledged and understood that she received a criminal trespass notice that she could not return.
Okay. So, but you did not speak directly with her. She did not admit or acknowledge that she had previously received that order.
I cannot recall off the base of my head. I'm going based off my report and based off the previous report that I read.
Okay. Thank you. I have no other questions.
Okay, Attorney Sullivan, do you have any other witness?
No other witnesses, but a brief further redirect of Officer Hernandez.
Okay,
May I proceed? I didn't
Yes.
mean to cut you off. Sorry
yes,
about
Attorney, yes, Attorney Sullivan.
Officer Hernandez, that report that you read, was it written by Officer Kirilova?
Yes, sir, it was.
And was it dated the 31st of March, 2023?
Yes, sir, it was.
And was that a criminal trespass notice issued on that date by that officer?
Yes, sir.
And she did it at the request of the owner of the Hotel O?
No, sir, that would be the owner of the coin laundromat.
I beg your pardon, yeah, the coin laundromat. Thank you for correcting me. And that owner's Ron Scott?
Yes, sir, it is.
And this laundromat's located in Clayton County?
Yes, sir, it is.
At any time, did Miss Heron ever tell you no one had ever told her she couldn't be there before this date when you were out there?
Sir, I cannot recall that conversation off my head. The only thing I can base and say honestly is that I read the report based by the previous officer, I'm sorry, I have a hard time pronouncing her name, Officer K, I call her, stating that she was given a criminal trespass notice on 3/31/2023 by the owner, Mr. Scott, if I recall correctly. She was advised not to return to the property, and she was asked if she understood, and she stated yes. And that's based off of what the report that I have in front of me and the report that Officer K documented.
Thank you, officer. Nothing further of this witness, Your Honor, and no other witnesses for the state.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Attorney Eager, do you have any witnesses for the defense? You're on mute.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Attorney Sullivan, we're ready for argument.
Yes, Judge. As you know, the rules of evidence apply in a probable cause hearing with one exception. Hearsay is allowed. And all of the testimony by Officer Hernandez regarding what he read in the report of Officer Kirilova is in evidence before the court. And based on all of the evidence, I believe the state's made out all the elements of criminal trespass in this incident.
Okay, you finished, Attorney Sullivan?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Judge.
Okay, Attorney Eager.
Yes, Your Honor. While we acknowledge and agree that the rules of evidence do allow for hearsay at probable cause hearings or preliminary hearings, Your Honor, we do believe that double hearsay is not, and that while the officer may have had information in the report as to what the other officer wrote, the information from the third party owner would have been double hearsay. So if the owner told the officer to issue the citation and then another officer reads that officer's report, we believe that's too many layers of hearsay to be admissible, because Ms. Hernan did not, Ms. Heron did not acknowledge that she had received the order. We have no indication that she actually did, and we would ask the court to not allow the warrant to stand.
Okay. In light of the evidence presented by the state, I do find sufficient probable cause to bind over the charge of criminal trespass, no damage to property, to against Ms. Heron for warrant number 2023WA06363. That is the order of the court, and that will conclude the preliminary hearing for Sandra K. Heron. Thank you. Okay, SGA Brooks, the next case.
I don't believe there are any other officers that are online.
Okay,
If there are
there's
not,
is investigator, okay, I'm sorry, you're right. That
if
was-
there are no other officers, Your Honor, I think council may have a motion.
Do you need a minute, or are you gonna try to reach them, or how would you like to proceed?
Yeah, we've attempted. These are, I think these are APD officers, so they maybe there's something going on in the airport, I'm not sure. But
Okay.
in any event, they should be on by now. And so, just for the record, I found the cases, if the court will allow. May I, Your
Okay.
Honor?
I didn't hear you.
May I sound for the officers on those particular cases, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right. Ira Cummings, that's any officer here on Ira Cummings. That's Officer Harris, I believe.